Something went wrong.
Did I put third prize up? Blame Pat. Well, Facebook's working. I see it.
There it is.
Do you mean to come in there and find it? Do you know where it's at? Oh, yes, it means. There it is. You're rolling too, right? On the side. Thanks.
Good Monday morning to you. It is the Monday Morning Extra Take with Zac Blobner and Len Martez for 95.3 WDAE. You can follow him, Zac on the mic. Follow myself, Elmar at 810. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
Free Martez!
But mainly, follow the mothership, the Sports Hub, 95.3 WDAE. Busy sports weekend. Good to be in here on a Monday morning. Blobner, let's start with the NFL draft. Done. 2019 draft is over. A lot of reactions as far as what the Bucs did with their 8 picks. The first 5 used on defense. And then a kicker. And then a wide receiver and another defensive player at the end in the 7th round. So overall, I hadn't seen you since Saturday when we did our show, Blobner Martez.
Not that long ago.
8 to noon.
Not that long ago.
But now that rounds 4, 5, 6, and 7 are done, your reaction, please.
Underwhelming. I mean, look, I get the whole, like, we might not actually know what's happening with these picks for another 3 years. Okay, we're here to figure out what we know now and what we expect. As far as, like, not making that decision yet and not giving grades out, like, that's fine if you don't want to do that. I feel like that's why we're here, is to give our opinions on those picks. Look, there are some questionable parts, and just to kind of reiterate some of the things we did already talk about on Saturday, I would have taken Josh Allen over Devin White, although I still think Devin White's a home run. So I have no complaints on it. I have a preference, but no complaints. Now, you start the second round up, and you go out there and you draft a guy named Sean Bunting out of Central Michigan, and much love to the Chippewas. I don't know if you guys know this about me, huge Chippewa fan. All jokes aside, having him come in, and I had this argument on Twitter actually during the morning show today with a couple listeners. It's easier to transition, in my opinion, if you're an offensive lineman. Somebody brought up Len Martez being at a smaller school. I think the jump from playing lineman in college to lineman in the NFL isn't as big of a deal. It's still hard to do. It's hard for anybody to become a pro. But I don't think the jump is as hard for linemen as it is for skill position players like cornerbacks. And I know a lot of people say, well, Antonio Brown was a Chippewa. Yeah, there's a few guys that come out of Central Michigan that are really, really good players. Absolutely. But there's not nearly as many as come out from the other schools, the SEC type of schools. You know, your LSUs of the world, your ACC schools, your Florida States of the world. So I think when you talk about those types of things, yeah, there's a lot of reasons to believe that could he be good? Sean Bunting, cornerback out of Central Michigan? Yeah. I was a bigger fan of the Edwards pick out of Kentucky. I think he's going to play well. Captain 2 years. Playmaking ability. Look, one of the downsides to him was the fact that his 40 time wasn't great, but he plays faster on the field if you watch any of the actual game time play. And then you get Dean out of Auburn. 3 ACLs, I think he had fixed. He's a very beat-up guy. But when he's on the field, he plays well. And, Len, since we've talked about these draft picks, I went back and watched some more of his highlights. You know what he does well? He hits guys on the line, which we've talked about. That's what they want to do differently this year with the secondary. And, again, at least out of Auburn, the tape that he had,
they can't run past you if you hit them at the line.
And he does. I'm telling you, go look. He does that a lot. And he hits. You talk about running backs catching too. He blew up running backs coming out of the backfield catching backs. So I think those are things that you can tell. You get a feel for how this defense is going to look, or how they want to look at least with some of the players they drafted. Now that brings to another negative point: drafting a kicker in the 5th round. Do you know if they're going to go out and get like a starter for sure on offensive line defense? No. But if you're going to roll the dice, and you're going to try to like upgrade the roster, I think you're better off rolling the dice on an offensive or defensive lineman with that 5th pick as opposed to going out and getting a kicker. Listen, you know I'm a big King Cairo guy, but all jokes aside, Len Martez, this guy coming in, Matt Gay, out of Utah, and I don't even care where he played. I mean, he could be anywhere and play for any school. It's tough. And even the kicker, even him, when he was drafted, he said, I was shocked to see my name come up when it did. I don't get it, man. I don't. And listen, he might pan out. And obviously, when we talk about the other positions, I'm a lot more lenient. The cornerbacks, all that. Because, yeah, schematically, I think there's a way that they might fit into a scheme. Kickers have nothing to do with scheme, Len. And that's why it's hard for me to make excuses on that kick.
Okay, let's go back to the bunting pick because you've done it multiple times, and I understand why you do it. Other folks have done it too. But we continuously hear about the small school thing. And for me, listen, there's no denying.
The stats are skewed because of that, Len.
Okay, that's fine. But there's no denying the fact that 254 players are drafted, and the SEC has the most drafted as far as the conference is concerned. I think they had 60 players.
It's not just about conference, though. It's about school, too.
Hold on. You went, now my turn. So, with that, yes, competition. Certainly not the same at the smaller school. But, man, this league is full of guys that have went to smaller schools for whatever reasons, multiple reasons, and have made a difference on football teams. Now, if you think in terms of top 40, 45 pick, coming in, making an impact immediately, I'm with you. Everyone that says that, I am with you. Because if you look around the league of the other teams that had top picks in the top 40, meaning a first-round pick and a second-round pick in the top 40, those guys are probably going to make a difference. For instance, look at Buffalo, and Oliver, Cody Ford. Those guys are going to play. Those guys are going to make a difference. You can even go to the same division, the AFC East, and New York. Ja'Kai Polite and also Quinn Williams. Guess what those guys are going to do their first year? They're going to make an impact. Yes. So if you tell me about Sean Bunting coming into the league and making an immediate impact, okay, I'm fine. You probably won't see this first year because I'll say it again. When they drafted guys last year, as far as corners concerned, they didn't start playing until it was the 3rd, 4th, 5th week into the season, and when the secondary started getting banged up, and they had to play. So again, if you want immediate impact and tell me Bunting may not do that his first year, okay, I'm with you on that. But as far as the small school thing is concerned, there's so many reasons why guys go to small schools, and I'm okay with taking a guy out of a small school.
Okay, that's fine. And one of the reasons guys go to small schools is because they're not talented enough to be at the other ones.
That's one of the reasons why.
Right.
But there's also multiple reasons
that's
why
fine.
they go to small schools.
Absolutely.
Okay, whether it be grades.
Absolutely.
Whether whatever
Financial,
the reason is.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's fine. That's fine, Len. But let's not act like the main reason isn't the fact that their talent levels don't work at those bigger schools.
No, it doesn't have to be the main reason. It could be one of the reasons why.
It's the main reason.
That's not true.
It is true.
Okay.
It is
not
true.
when you get drafted,
so let's
Zach.
go look at the offers, Len.
Listen.
Let's go look at the offers these guys got out of high school.
That's not.
How many of them had offers at these other schools?
Dude, Josh Jacobs didn't have any offers until Saban saw his videos from his high school.
Okay, and then he got the offer.
Yes.
Okay, so
but sometimes guys go unseen. They go unseen.
Absolutely. Sometimes you're right, but the majority of these guys don't get offers at these other schools, or at least offers where they expect to start.
The guys
that a lot of it more of his talent.
The guys that are in smaller schools that make it at this level and get drafted in the NFL.
Yes.
There are multiple reasons why. Listen, if you
I
tell me a guy that goes to a small school,
reason.
if you tell me a guy goes to a small school, okay, and he doesn't get to this level, that's fine. He probably went to that school because main reason why he couldn't make it at Division I Power 5.
Okay.
But when you get drafted into the NFL, the main reason why you went to that small school is not because of the talent level, because you're making it into the NFL.
Now you're making me pull this up, because now you got me fired up about this.
That's fine. Fire it up for the Monday morning. Blobner Martez, the Monday morning extra take.
Okay. So I just want to look. You know how many offers Sean Bunting had coming out of high school? He was a 2-star receiver. He had one offer.
Okay.
One offer. You want to tell me?
That's one
But
guy.
that's the guy we're talking about
Okay.
here. But we're specifically talking about him.
Okay. And I'm not here to tell you that was the right pick. All I'm telling you is, let's not just throw a blanket on a small school thing, because there's plenty of guys in this league that went to small schools.
Sean Bunting had one offer, and it was from Central Michigan, and that's why he went there. And by the way, he was a 5'11 receiver, 2-star when he came out. And I agree, there's other reasons and other things can happen, but let's not act like Sean Bunting is a guy who just grade-wise or financially went to Central Michigan, and that's why. He went because he wasn't talented enough to be at an SEC school. Now, that's not to say he didn't grow into a guy that could be a great NFL player, which is obviously what the team's hoping. He's taller now than he was. He's obviously been damn good for them. And look, where he played, it's one of those things where you can only do what's in front of you, right? As far as where he played in the position, in the school, in the conference, he was the best he could be. And I'll give him credit for that. And I am going to give him credit for that. And I think he could still be a very viable part of this team.
If you're going to play, you dominate. And he dominated.
I agree. My only point is there's a reason he was playing at Central Michigan and not at LSU, not at Florida State, not for Ohio State. There's a reason. So, but regardless, I don't want to kill the kid before he hits the field. I do think he's got a lot of good skill set. He's quick. You know, he calls himself. I like that he calls himself a receiving cornerback because he's a ball hawk. And
because
we need
as you already mentioned already, that's where he was playing in high school.
And we need turnovers on this Buccaneer team. But anyways, let's move on to the other stuff. Because me and you went back and forth on Sean Bunting a lot, and I'm sure we will continue to do so as long as he is in this league for a year or two.
I just don't like condemning the small school thing.
But my point is though, Len, is it the end all be all that they went to a small school or a player went? No, and I agree with you. But more times than not, it is because their talent level wasn't good enough to be at the other school. So, anyways, again, we'll shelf that. We'll move on because there's other picks. What was your reaction when you saw a kicker go 5? Because I'll tell you what mine was. What the?
Yeah, well, let's just say we were in the media room at $1, myself and the rest of the media members that covered the draft for the NFL and the Buccaneers. There was some, oh my gods, OMGs. And the idea of going down the road again with a kicker after, just 3 previous drafts, 2016, moving up to draft 1. And I know, listen, it's a decade-long issue. But there's other teams that have solved their issue going a different route. Now, to Jason Light's credit, he talked about we've turned over every rock possible. And I'm paraphrasing. Whether it be undrafted free agents, free agency, draft, trying to get veterans in here. They've done it all different ways to solve their kicking problem. And that's not to say Matt Gay, a 5th-round pick, is going to solve it. But I was dumbfounded because I wanted at some point to get in the trenches. I mean, you talk about competition. We constantly hear about competition.
Oh, that was Jason's whole thing for cornerbacks,
yes,
right?
But you know what? You know where competition would be good? Some guard competition. That would be good. Some right guard competition. And I don't mean deodorant either. I mean regarding the offensive line that we watched the last year that had issues running the football. And listen, right tackle, DeMar Dotson is what he is. I lose track of which knee's the good one. Okay? But God bless him and give him a
better one. I don't know if either of them are
the
good
better
at this
one.
point.
True.
They're
better
both
one.
in trouble.
God bless him, because he's going to go out there and he's going to probably play 16 games.
Well, the Bucs need him to.
He's going to probably play 16. Now, he won't practice on Wednesday, probably won't practice on Thursday.
Won't do a lot in training camp.
He'll WD-40 those knees on Friday, and he'll play on Sundays. But he's not a mauling type right tackle anymore that's going to give you a lot when it comes to the running game's concerned.
For over a decade, man.
Yes.
And played his tail off.
But because of that, then you have to have the guy next to him be that much better. And again, that's not to knock DeMar. That's not to knock him. But as far as the line's concerned, you got to have all those guys better, especially the guy right next to him. The guy right next to DeMar can't be the weakest part of the offensive line.
And I'll say this, and we talked a lot about what to do in the second round. We had a caller, I should say, on the morning show. I don't actually know if they went through because they were talking to me on the phone screening side for a while. But they brought up a good point, and I'm not usually one to trade up, but there were both Jawan Taylor and your boy Cody Ford available in the second round. Looking at who they actually drafted, I can't say I wouldn't have been happy to see them, knowing now. And hindsight is 2020. Hindsight's 2020. We didn't know what was going to happen, though. I know we didn't know what was going to happen.
No, it's not that. It's not that.
But
I'm going to ask you a question.
Based on the picks they had,
well, here's my question to you.
They should have traded up and taken one of these guys or one of the other cornerbacks that went ahead.
If you call somebody that is a little slightly higher than you in the second round, Cody Ford's still there.
Yeah.
And they say, hey, give us your 4 and your 5. Oh, who'd you draft in your 4 and your 5? Because if that's the cost of getting Cody Ford,
it's worth it. Not
only is it worth it, then your 4 and a 5 are what? Anthony Nelson and a kicker.
It's worth it.
So in reality, the trade would have been your second round and Anthony Nelson to draft Cody Ford.
And again, it's easy to do now because you never know how the board's going to fall. Hindsight's 2020. But Len, if you take those two guys and you take either Cody Ford or even Jawan Taylor, you might have been able to get up to. So you might have been able to get in front of the Jaguars to draft him, maybe. But you have two guys that are immediate day one starters on the offensive line. You could have got if you would have traded up. I got no excuses for the Bucs, man. I don't. And again, when you take a kicker in the 5th round, and you could have used that 5th rounder to trade up and take an impact player, I don't know, man. Look, and we'll be optimistic. We'll have things about this team that we like. Look, Mike Evans is still.
Oh, we're here. We're here already. It's what's done is done.
What's done is done. But with that being said, not a great draft. Not a great draft for the Bucs, man. It's not.
No, C. I'm saying that letter-wise, C.
Yeah. That's being nice.
I was going to say, you're not getting a B.
That's Devin White.
You're not getting a B minus. You're not getting a B.
It's a C because of Devin White. Without Devin White, we're talking D's and F's.
Well,
let's be honest.
Yeah, but without Devin White, it would have been Josh Allen. You still would have gotten a C.
That's a good point.
You still would have gotten a C.
Who do you like outside of White? I told you, for me, I'm a big fan of the Kentucky safety coming in. I don't know what that means for Justin Evans. Huge fan of that pick. And honestly, we'll see what happens with the undrafted free agents. The running back position is another one. My mind's blown. I mean, they took the kid Anderson out of North Dakota State. Mm-hmm. Local kid, played at Newsom High.
Can catch the football.
I saw some of his film, but the same idea. Like, he looked great in the competition.
Here we go.
He looked great.
Don't forget
against like 5 foot, 11 dudes.
Which is another reason why I say. Let's not bash the small schools. And I know you're not bashing the small schools, but everyone's immediately going through the whole MAC schedule and thinking, there's a quarterback that was on Bruce Anderson's team that's
different.
Again, I'm not going to immediately jump on the small school thing, especially since I went to a small school.
It's different for different positions, though. And again, the skill positions, and I know the quarterback is, in theory, one of those, but I think because the quarterback, if you play behind a good offensive line and your receivers, running backs are able to dominate in that conference, when you take the next step and you have good receivers, running backs, and a good offensive line in front of you, even from a small school to the NFL, you're going to be okay. And we've seen it a lot. That's the other thing, is there's a sample size there, right? Like Joe Flacco. Like, we can go down the list. And I went further back on purpose before Brett Favre. Like, we can go down the list. There was a lot of guys that come into the league as small school quarterbacks that played damn well. I mean, even Blake Bortles, but he was still drafted, top 5. We can go down the list. Now, when it comes to cornerbacks, it's a little different.
Yeah, so.
It's a little different. There are some. Same thing with receivers. I mentioned Antonio Brown. There's some. But more often than not, it's a harder jump. I'm not saying they don't exist, but it's
that's why I say when you draft in the top 40 and you get 2 picks in the top 40, maybe you do want that guy that went to a bigger school. And I agree with that part of it. When you want to talk to me about making an impact in 2019, and you say to me, Bunting probably won't make an impact, I agree with you because the transition from one level to the next, it's going to take him a little longer. But that's not to say 3 years down the road, we can't be standing here thinking, that guy was actually a pretty good pick.
2 5-win seasons in a row. They don't have 3 years down the road.
No, you're right. They
don't.
And it's questions of whether or not your general manager and your head coach will be in 3 years.
You're hoping they can go from 5 to 7 or 8 wins, and then next year Bunting gets, instead of it taking 3 years, it takes 2. That's what they're hoping. But that's the thing I don't get, Len. Why are they bringing in projects? You can't afford that. You're a 5-win football team. Bruce Arians, you're not walking into a fresh situation. You're walking into a situation where Jameis has to prove it this year, and Jason Light does too. These guys are on a 1-year fake prove-it deals, as T-Crass likes to call it, the real thing. They're on 1-year prove-it deals. You don't have 3 years to take a kid like Bunting and get him up to speed.
I think for me, this draft, when it comes to the Bucs, certainly we know that obviously the 8 picks, but it's 4 names that didn't end up here that a lot of us may have wanted. And that's Allen, Cody, Greedy. Yeah. Allen, Cody, Greedy, and Bryce.
Yeah. They didn't take anybody.
Look,
I mean,
look, 2 years, 2 years, 3 years down the road.
We can throw Renfro in there too. He was available in the 5th round when they took the kicker.
But I would say a lot of Bucs fans, and I won't put everyone in this category, but a lot of Bucs fans probably would have been okay with had they drafted Allen, Cody, Greedy, or Bryce. And for me, 2-3 years down the road, not only are we going to grade the 2019 draft, but I'm going to check and see where those guys are because they could have been here in Tampa.
Yeah, yeah. You're depressing me. I gotta get out of this.
Well, I'm not doing anything. I'm just giving you facts, man. Sometimes facts are hard. Life's hard, bro. I mean, you know what I mean? You know, you can't.
Tampa Bay Rays.
You can't just be hanging out and hanging out with the Rays fans.
Baseball.
You can't on Sundays when you're doing watch parties.
Baseball.
Well, but life's not just about watch parties, man.
Let me ask you this before we switch and we do go to the Rays, who are the best team in baseball right now. Before we do that, and we've kind of already had these conversations, knowing what you know now, and obviously we'll see what happens in training camp and, preseason. Does this team look much better than a 5-win football team?
No. But you know what? I knew that prior to the draft.
But there's certain...
Listen,
there's a way there's a draft.
Zach,
if you have a good draft, we're talking about, okay.
When the totals came
out...
If
it is Allen and Cody Ford, you're giving them more wins than you are right now.
Probably. Because Cody Ford is going to give you more than probably what you're going to get from your second round pick this year.
If it's Josh
That's
Allen
this year.
And Cody Ford.
That's this year.
And again,
it's not even so much Allen. It's about.
It's both. It's both.
I don't listen. Again, steak or lobster, dude. I'm okay. I'm good with White. With the way they're going to use him, I'm good with White.
So Devin White as opposed to Josh Allen, neither of them gives you more. Okay, let's say they both give you another win. That's the same amount for both. You don't lose or gain a win if you would have won Josh Allen. No. But you do lose or gain a win possibly if you go Cody Ford or Juwan Taylor over Sean Bunting.
Yeah, because I don't expect him to make an impact in 2019.
Do you lose or gain a win if you go Greedy Williams over Sean Bunting?
No.
Yeah, I probably agree with that too.
No. I'm not on the Greedy train.
All right, I mean, I would have rather had Greedy over Sean Bunting.
Because it's just a name, dude.
It's not true.
I mean,
it's not true.
You would think he'd probably play more because of the jump. He'd be able to make that jump quicker, and they may have more confidence in him to make that jump quicker. But I don't think the productivity would be great in 2019.
It's schematic.
We'll see. Because he's going to get a chance in Cleveland. We're going to see how good he is out there.
We will. It's scheme and they want guys that are going to hit dudes off the line. I get it.
See, but again, my doubts. Listen, hold on. My doubts about their win total for 2019 wasn't altered by the draft. Zach, we talked about their win total when Vegas had the NFL season win totals come out. What did we say then? You got to squeeze out 7. Right?
I don't know, man.
And now you're doing what? You're squeezing out 7 again. You're adding 1 for White, maybe 1 here. That's 7 wins. It's the same thing.
Well, 1 for White, 1 for the scheme, 1 for Bruce.
Okay, but
2 maybe for Bruce.
Okay.
I still think they could get to 8.
But Zach, that's the same number we talked about when the Vegas win totals came out.
It's true. Well, that's why I wanted to bring it up again. I wanted to see if anything changed.
The draft didn't change anything. It wouldn't have changed anything no matter who they drafted.
That's not true. You just said if they would have got a Cody Ford, you probably would have given him
1 more? Okay, 8. What did they going to do?
500 is a lot
Yeah.
different.
Okay, great. Listen, if I'm a Bucs fan,
yeah.
I saw that 2 years ago, 3 years ago. What a 9-7 season. We won 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Come on, man. We want more.
You better chill the hell out.
One more, man.
You better chill out. You better walk before you
want more.
You know what?
I'm like remember the
I'm
Titans.
We
want some more.
I'm not with
we
it,
want
man.
some more.
I'm not with it. You walk around town and you ask how many Bucs fans if they would, if they want.
If they take 9 and 7.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Cool. Ask them if they take 8 and 8.
Oh, they 10 wins the last 2 years. They would take 8 and 8.
Okay.
But I'm saying I want more.
Well, you want 8 and 8. Okay. Then you want more.
Anyway, team over in Amalie Arenas winning regular season titles, and the team at the Trop is the best team in baseball. And we're going to be satisfied with 8 wins? Well, more than that, man.
We can talk about that in 2020, bro. You get the 8 wins first.
Okay, fine. Anyway, let's head out to the Trop. No, they're not there. But the best team in baseball, yes, is right here in the Tampa Bay area. Mm-hmm. Rays winners again yesterday, 5-2 over the Red Sox. Swept 2 games in Fenway after Friday night's game was rained out. They are now, again, 18-9. Think about this, Zach. On the road, they've scored in the first inning in 9 of their 11 road games. Man, that's huge. If you're a pitcher, you go out to the mound with a lead already. Not to mention the fact that Tyler Glasnow is leading the league in wins. And it's funny how things change from one start to another. Got pulled a little early, his last start, last week, and then ended up throwing 102 pitches yesterday. More of what we want to see. Like Blake, Tyler, Charlie Morton. Let him throw 100, man. I mean, I know the analytics are different, and you want to go to your pen, and you sometimes don't want to have guys face the lineup 3 times through. I get all that, man, but I'm old school. I told you that. I trust the Rays when it comes to their winning, but I also wouldn't mind seeing guys get that extra little batter here or there, man.
I agree. No, I'm with you on that, and I'll even go a step further. I mean, right now, seeing what we've seen from Tyler Glasnow, Lenny, he's going to finish top 5 in Cy Young voting, right? Like, he's on pace to do that.
Well, he's on pace to do that, but Yandy Diaz is on pace to hit 40.
That ain't going to hold up.
Okay.
But the Tyler Glasnow thing will.
Okay.
You don't feel so?
I mean,
I'm asking. And then just like we do with the draft, we'll revisit it after the All-Star
it's only April, dude. This guy's got 5 wins already. I mean, it's kind of, yeah, but I'm not. It's like saying that the Rays are going to win 112, 115 games.
I don't think it's necessarily the same.
Okay.
I don't think those
it's a little early.
Those aren't relatable.
Here's the reason why I'm kind of like a little bit sketchy about that.
We'll revisit it after the All-Star break, but right now I feel pretty confident that he'll finish top 5.
I'm a little bit sketchy about doing that.
Top five.
Is the fact that Glasnow, granted, pitched last year in this league, but he hasn't even got a full year in the league yet. So more and more opportunities to see him when it comes to taking the mound. I'm not here to tell you that he can't win 18-20, but as far as Cy Young's concerned, it's a lot to put on a guy. His first full year.
I don't think we're putting it on him. I think he's believing in himself, and I think the rest of the team obviously is helpful when you have a bullpen that's doing what they do, and the hitters are actually connecting and taking it long. And D-Rob across the board. You mentioned Diaz, but like D-Rob's hitting the ball well. Zanino's starting to hit it again. Kiermaier's staying. Like, there's a lot of factors. I'm just saying right now, I feel good. I feel good about Glasnow being in that conversation as the season, and I don't see him dropping off. I don't have any reason to believe so.
Talk to me at the end of May, Memorial Day. See where we're at with that.
I will.
And I'm not telling you it can't sustain. But first month through, a great month by the way. I mean, they've got 18 wins in a month, and a month still got a couple of days left. They go to KC tonight, 7 o'clock. You can hear that game right here on 95.3 WDAE. Actually, 7 o'clock is the inside pitch. Steve Carney, then Neil Solon 7:30 with the Rays pregame show, and then first pitch, David Andy from Kansas City. So 3 games there, and then they go to Baltimore. Actually, 4 games in Kansas City. 4 games in Kansas City. Leave KC on Thursday, and then head to Baltimore for a weekend series against the O's. Time to get fat, man. Get fat. 18 wins. You can add a couple more before the end of the month. You could actually end April with 20.
It's insane, dude. It's insane.
First month.
It's awesome, man.
It's awesome. Actually, they won a couple of games in March, so I think.
No, they can get to 20 wins. They can get to 20 wins in April.
You got 3 games left.
I'm trusting Ronnie Lane's math on that.
Oh, boy.
Because Ronnie asked Hein Bloom about it earlier today on the Ronnie and T. Crash show. By the way, VP of Baseball Ops Hein Bloom. You can catch that whole interview online, 953WDAE.com, under the Ronnie and T. Crash blog. But, yeah, Ronnie was pumping it. Yeah, they could get 20 wins. They have more than, and they don't have to win out to do it. So, again, I'm basing it on his math. But, yeah, according to Ronnie Knight, Trent Lane, you can get 20 wins. I believe it. This team's been fun, man. And they don't look like they're slowing down. And, I mean, look, across the board, everything's great. And that's including going through some injuries. You know, like Wendell. Obviously, you got Matt Duffy trying to get his stuff figured out. But there's more to it than that is encouraging. We've also seen hitting droughts. Willie Adames, who has been up and down, but he's found times in pockets where he's hit well through 5 or 6 games. Mike Zunino, since he's had his kid, has come out and he's been hitting the ball better. There's reasons to believe in this team, and mostly for me, it's because every adversity that they've had to face so far, Len, they've been able to come back from. Blake Snell already missed the start. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's been things that they've already bounced back from. Not to say that there's not going to be more adversity, but they've shown that they can take it and they can still win ball games in the face of it.
Well, they got 7 games left on this road trip. 7-2 was what I'd like to see them come back with. 2 games at Fenway, already won those 2. Take 3 out of 4 from Kansas City, and take 2 out of 3 in Baltimore. If you can come back 7-2 after that road trip, that'd be pretty good.
Pretty good. And the weird part here, as much as we talk about climbing different mountains and doing different things, still haven't played the Yankees. That's weird, right?
You got them after that series in Baltimore.
I know, but
this time next week the Yankees will be in town
for the first time of the season. 2 months in.
Yes. By the way,
weird,
winning games with like Scotch tape.
You talk about adversity. That'll be big. That'll be big. And look, do we think Boston's going to figure it out a little bit? Yeah, probably. But right now, if you're the Rays, when I say we,
no, I'm just laughing because I watched their 2 top pitchers on Saturday throw under 93-mile-an-hour fastballs, can't hit their spots, and you know what? Listen, if they go through a season where Price and Sale, and maybe they'll figure it out, but those guys can't break 93, 94 anymore, and if they don't hit their spots, they're going to get hit like they got hit on Saturday and on Sunday. Now, that's not to say watching baseball enough years to know you don't have to throw 95, 99. Guys have made careers, Hall of Fame type careers, whether it be Maddox or Santana, where they've hadn't thrown 95, 96, and won in this league. But you know what they did? They had a changeup, and they hit their spots. And as long as Price and Sale are not hitting their spots, a lot of what happened this weekend is going to continue to happen to that Red Sox starting pitching.
So when I said we, I mean like the baseball world. More people than not expect them to turn it around. Tim Kirchin was on WDAE last week on the morning show, and he actually doesn't. So not everybody feels that way, but I think for the most part, people do think that Boston, because it's Boston and they're the defending champs, is going to turn it around. I don't necessarily feel that way, which is actually where I was going to go with it. Not so much about like, oh, I don't think Boston gets it figured out, but to me, it's the Yankees or the Rays in the AL East this year. It is. And again, can Boston get back into the picture? Yeah. I don't think I've seen enough from their hitting or pitching to believe that that's going to happen. What I do think is that that's a team that could go out and spend money and try to figure it out. The Yankees are in it, though, already, and they're banged up. So what I do is I bring that up because if the Rays want to be the best team in the AL East, you're going to go through New York, not Boston this year. We haven't seen that matchup yet.
It's kind of what people expected, though, too, somewhat. Yeah.
What people?
I've seen plenty of people predicted the Yankees were going to win the American League East.
Oh, yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. So the Rays got to go through them.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll get our first taste of that coming up here soon. But it's just weird that they haven't had to actually play yet. So we have no idea how to gauge those 2 teams. And even when they see them here for the first time in the first 2 series.
Everyone won't be back for the Yankees.
Right. So even if the Rays sweep them, even if the Rays win the series.
What you want to do, though.
Yeah, you want to. But when we get to July and August, it's going to be a completely different Yankees team anyways. So it's going to be the Yankees that the Rays have to go through to win the AL East. But even with their first few meetings, it's not going to give us a gauge of anything.
No, it won't. And still, even if they were completely healthy, it's May. Now, do you want to get off to the great start that the Rays have gotten off to? Absolutely. Because the signs are that these things, they're not doing it with smoke and mirrors.
No.
They're doing it, again, with the best run differential in Major League Baseball. They have not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 guys who are getting saves on this team. Mm-hmm. And we kind of knew that going into the season. We kind of knew that was going to be kind of a bullpen by committee, closer by committee kind of deal. Kind of Kevin Cash. Yeah, and Kevin Cash goes with the fielding as far as like analytics and decides who's going to close out games.
So what's the big surprise to you? What is it? Because
Yanni.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't even say one guy specifically.
Oh,
just in general, I think it's the hitting.
Well,
there's the long ball working.
They've gotten contributions out of the batter's box from multiple plays.
And all 3 of the pitching starters.
Iverson Garcia's haven't had days himself.
I agree. We talked about Zunino coming back.
And Robinson had a couple of days.
Hurt now.
No, Meadows.
Which
is another guy that's not healthy right now too. So
Kiermaier's consistent. Yeah, no, and Pham on base percentage is insane. So the hitting has been way better than anybody expected it to, and consistent. And again, starting pitching, all 3 guys have been dominant. Not just Blake Snell, not just Charlie Morton. Glasnow's been the best of the 3. And the other 2 aren't bad. So the starting 3 have been dominant, and the pitching, or the hitting behind it has been good and consistent. So those are the surprises. Like you said, we expected the bullpen to be good. We expected Blake Snell to be good. We expected certain guys to be good at hitting and consistent.
This is
other stuff.
This isn't a knock on the reigning, defending Cy Young winner. But think about this. That opening day loss, Blake took the loss. Mm-hmm. There was a loss earlier this week where they lost, 10-2?
He coming off of injury.
But again, it wasn't one of his greatest starts.
Oh, that's a nice way to put it, yeah.
So that's 2 that's 2 losses of the 9.
Solely on his shoulders.
But you still avoided it being an issue because you have 18 wins, and the best pitcher on your team, potentially the best pitcher in the American League, has 2 of those bad outings. So, I mean, I'm being a little greedy. Williams.
It's funny.
Being a little bit greedy.
It's funny because a week ago,
I
brought up the fact that they could have had a couple more wins. That they lost in extra innings.
I know.
And that was before the Boston and the Baltimore extra inning losses. That was when it was just the Rockies.
Let things go, man. You gotta let things go, man.
But when you bring it up, it's okay.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Out last night, or out yesterday afternoon at the watch party.
Time. Shout out. I really appreciate that. I appreciate the kind words from you, Len, and from everybody else that kind of not only reached out to, give me some love, but it was a lot of fun. The Rumfish Grill Resort at Tradewind, St. Petersburg Beach. Giant screen in the sand. A lot of people came out, including Ronnie Lane and a lot of friends of mine. It was cool. Aaron Jacobson, obviously, I would say in the house, but out on the beach. He was actually already there, so I don't know how much love I want to give him. He just stuck around for an extra hour.
He probably slept on the beach Saturday night.
He and Friday night, actually. 2 nights in a row. So, but whatever. I'm appreciative that he was there and that he showed up. It's funny because quick little behind-the-scenes story with Aaron that I'll tell you. So we get out there, and I'm introducing him to the people that are having me out there from the Rays. He hasn't, met all of them. The front of house, the business side, right? And I'm introducing him as Aaron Jacobson from 970. And he's like, why do you keep doing that? He's like, I do as much with 95.3 as I do with 970. And I go, well, yeah, but I'm the one representing 95.3. I was like, I'm not trying to share that love. It's me, dog. And so he was laughing at me, and I was like, yeah, obviously you do stuff with us as well. But we had a good time. He was having a good time out there, and a ton of prizes. Tommy Pham signed bat. Tyler Glasnow signed ball. And we're going to do a lot more stuff out there with the trade wins. So, yeah, it was cool to be out there. Appreciate the trade wins, Rays baseball. Love to be back. Hopefully I get to. Maybe we'll get you out there next time.
Settle down. He's Zac Blobner. Zac on the mic on Twitter.
You gotta get where we at? If you would, quick update. All the jokes aside, # Free Martez. Any update on this suspension?
Twitter support.
This is week 3. I told you if we get through 4 weeks, I'm making shirts.
Actually, they have a deadline. They have a deadline of their own. Usually,
they do.
If someone doesn't get back to them, who's actually asked for the URL that I posted, put up, doesn't get back to them. For instance, let's pull the curtain back completely instead of you.
I'm waiting for you. I'm giving you the floor.
Spitting out misinformation.
No, I'm
Zac Blobner, the founder of misinformation.
I asked you to clarify.
I told you many times.
Well, I'm asking you to clarify for the audience so that it's not just me.
The folks out there listening to the podcast and also on Facebook Live, DAE profile page. Again, I posted something on Twitter that had music in the background, and that URL.
Several things, not one thing.
Yes, several videos. But the
Where
URL.
You stole other people's music.
I did not. See? And then you wonder why I can't tell the story. You continue to interrupt me, and I can't tell the story.
The claim is that you've stolen music, right? That's the claim.
Listen, I will tell the story. Let me tell the story. Bottom line is, I shot video. My intention was to get the actual video footage of an actual play. But in the actual video that I posted on Twitter, there was actually music in the background. So the folks who own the right to the music contacted Twitter and said, take that down. So Twitter contacted me and said, okay, we're pulling this. We're revoking this URL. And I said, fine, no big deal. The only problem is I did it like 4 or 5 different times before they actually told me the first time that it was coming down. So since then, yes, my account has been suspended, but Twitter has contacted me back and said if we don't hear back from the folks who own the music rights within 10 days, then they'll actually reactivate my account.
So basically, if Usher decides,
I wish it was a Halle Berry. I wish it was a Halle Berry story, but it's not a Halle Berry story.
So if Usher decides that you're not infringing on his copyrighted music,
Interscope and whoever else,
if that's decided on, you'll be back.
Yes.
If not, another week will go by, and I'll have to get free Martez shirts made.
Get them made. I'll wear one.
It's a win-win for me.
Problem.
I think either way, we're gonna get at least a couple of them made.
Anyway, he's Zach on a mic. Yes, you can follow him on Twitter.
I'm going to take a nap, bro. I'm tired.
You can follow me eventually. Really, eventually.
For what it's worth, you're still getting tagged in everything that we put on Twitter. So, if you're Elmart810, if you ever are brought back to life on Twitter, you're going to have so many links that are clickable. It's the bright side.
Mainly, don't follow Zach. Don't follow me. Follow the Mothership, the Sports Hub. 95.3 WDAE. We will talk to you on Saturday.
Happy Monday.
8 a.m. Blobner's tired. He's worked 7 days a week.
Bye.
Beat it.